The fluorescent lights of Hangar 12 flickered across the polished nose of the training aircraft as voices echoed against metal walls. But the loudest one, all swagger and superiority, belonged to Captain Rick Halden, a man who believed the sky belonged only to people who resembled him. And in the middle of that noisy arrogance stood Maya Jordan, a young black trainee pilot in a crisp polo, her thick braids tied back neatly, holding her logbook with both hands and wearing the quiet confidence of someone who had already earned her place, even if no one around her had realized it yet. She approached the aircraft as the trainee assigned to observe the pre-flight procedures, but before she even reached the first step, Halden turned sharply, eyes narrowing with the kind of dismissive judgment that comes from years of thinking authority is a birthright instead of something earned. "You," he snapped, pointing a finger as though summoning staff. "The cockpit's filthy. Go inside and clean it before I start today's session." Maya blinked. "Sir, I'm assigned as your trainee for—" He cut her off with a laugh that carried across the hangar. "Trainee? Not today. You can start by wiping the dust. These planes aren't free maid service." Several other trainees glanced over, some smirking, some uncomfortable but unwilling to challenge him. Maya stood still, muscles tight, but expression calm, because she'd seen this before. People so blinded by their own assumptions they couldn't imagine her anywhere except beneath them. "Sir," she said clearly, "I'm a licensed pilot. I'm here to observe your procedures." Halden rolled his eyes, waving a hand like shooing a child. "Look, sweetheart, you're not ready for that yet. Just do the cleaning, and when you're done, maybe we'll let you watch us fly." The other trainees chuckled under their breath, the sound slicing deeper than any insult. Maya inhaled slowly, grounding herself the way she taught her own students to, though Halden had no idea she even had students. Not yet. She climbed the steps into the cockpit, not to clean, but to breathe, to remember the sky belonged to her as much as anyone. And as she stepped inside, she glanced at the captain's seat she had once flown for nearly 1,000 hours as part of her instructional work with the FAA. But she stayed silent, for now. Halden soon stormed in behind her with a clipboard, irritation dripping from every step. "Still not done cleaning?" he barked. She turned, meeting his gaze evenly. "I'm not cleaning, Captain. I'm assessing the panel alignment." He scoffed. "You don't even know what you're looking at." Maya didn't respond. She didn't need to, because in that moment, an FAA regional supervisor walked into the hangar, checking for the morning's evaluation session, an evaluation Halden didn't know was happening. And the sight of him tightened Halden's posture instantly. "Everyone stand by," Halden shouted, suddenly alert, suddenly aware that someone with real authority had arrived. Maya stepped down the ladder just as the supervisor approached, and that was when her instructor badge slipped from her pocket, clattering onto the concrete like a dropped truth. Halden stared at it, confused, then slowly bent to pick it up, reading the words that froze his breath midair. "Federal Aviation Administration, Certified Flight Instructor and Evaluation Lead, Maya Jordan." His fingers trembled as the realization formed. The woman he ordered to clean, the woman he dismissed like a subordinate, the woman he mocked in front of trainees, wasn't a trainee at all. She was the FAA instructor sent to evaluate him. Halden's face drained of color as he stared at the badge, his eyes darting from the shiny emblem to Maya's calm, unwavering expression, the truth hitting him harder than any turbulence he had ever encountered in the sky. He opened his mouth to speak, to apologize, to salvage whatever authority he thought he had left, but words failed him entirely, collapsing into stutters as Maya gently plucked the badge from his frozen fingers and clipped it to her shirt with a quiet click that echoed through the hangar like a gavel striking judgment. The FAA supervisor stopped mid-step, eyebrows raised as he took in the scene, instantly understanding more than Halden wished he could hide. "Captain Halden," the supervisor said slowly, "I hope you've been treating our lead instructor with the respect she deserves." The other trainees' jaws dropped. One muttered, "Lead? Instructor?
while another took a full step back, as though proximity to Halden's humiliation might be contagious. Halden swallowed hard, hands trembling as he attempted to stand straighter. Sir, there's been a misunderstanding. She said she was a trainee. Maya raised a hand and spoke softly but with precision that silenced everyone. I said I was assigned to observe you. You assumed the rest. The supervisor's expression hardened. Captain Halden, step aside. Halden obeyed instantly, his earlier arrogance dissolving into frightened compliance. The supervisor turned to Maya. Instructor Jordan, would you like to proceed with the evaluation or file the incident report first? Halden's knees nearly buckled. Maya took a breath. She wasn't here for revenge. She was here for accountability. The evaluation, she said. Let him show what he can do without the assumptions. Her words struck deeper than anger ever could, and Halden flinched as though each syllable carried weight. The trainees watched, stunned, as the power dynamics shifted so drastically that the hangar itself felt different, as though it now recognized the rightful authority in the room. Maya stepped toward the aircraft with professional calm, reviewing the checklist with a mastery Halden had never imagined she possessed, and when she spoke, her voice carried the confidence of someone who lived and breathed aviation, someone who had earned every ounce of her status. Halden tried to participate, fumbled through procedures he should have known instinctively, and with every mistake, Maya noted quietly on her tablet, objective, fair, unaffected by ego. She wasn't here to punish, she was here to reveal truth. And the truth was undeniable. Halden's arrogance had always outweighed his ability. When the pre-flight check was complete, the supervisor approached Halden and said, "We'll continue the session in the conference room. Instructor Jordan will lead." And as the group began walking, Halden trailed behind like a man walking toward his own reflection for the first time, forced to see what his prejudice had made him blind to. Inside the conference room, sunlight streamed through the wide windows as Maya took her place at the front, where Halden had expected to stand, and laid her notes on the table, her presence commanding, not loud, not forceful, just undeniable. She began the evaluation with a steady voice, outlining strengths, weaknesses, and safety concerns with professionalism so precise it left no room for argument. Halden's face reddened when she highlighted procedural gaps he had overlooked earlier, each critique exposing not just training issues but the deeper truth. He had spent so many years believing himself superior that he had stopped learning altogether. The trainees listened intently, some taking notes, others watching Maya with newfound respect, and more than one quietly ashamed of having laughed earlier. When she finished, the supervisor addressed the room. Instructor Jordan's evaluation will determine whether Captain Halden continues in this program. Her authority is final. Halden finally spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm sorry." Maya met his eyes with the calm of someone who healed rather than harmed. "Use it," she said simply. "Use the discomfort to grow. That's what real pilots do." The supervisor nodded, signaling the end of the session, and the trainees rose, many approaching Maya with gratitude, respect, some even with apology. Halden lingered in the doorway, unsure whether to leave or stay. Maya closed her tablet, walked past him, and paused just long enough to leave him with one final truth. Never confuse humility with weakness, and never assume a person's place, especially in the sky. Then she walked out of the room with the dignity of a woman who knew the sky wasn't just a destination, it was her domain. And Halden, left standing alone, finally understood that arrogance may lift a man temporarily, but respect and competency are what keep him airborne.
If this story shook something inside you, if it made you angry, proud, reflective, or inspired, don't let that feeling drift away. Hold on to it, carry it forward. Comment below and tell us the moment that hit you hardest. Was it when Captain Halden ordered Maya to clean, when the trainees laughed, or when her badge dropped, revealing the truth that shattered every assumption in the room? Share this video so more people witness why representation matters, why training environments must be grounded in respect, and why titles don't give someone character, choices do. And if you believe skill, brilliance, and leadership belong to everyone, not just those who fit someone else's expectation, press like so this message spreads. Subscribe to join a community that exposes injustice, uplifts strength, and honors realities too many experience in silence. Every share, every comment, every tap of support keeps these stories alive and pushes them into the places they're needed most. Stand with Maya. Stand with every underestimated leader. Stand with the truth that power isn't who speaks the loudest, it's who stands the tallest. Be part of the movement. Be part of the change.